Welcome back, friends. I am Mellowseven. This is Football Manager 2018, and we are managing AC Ajaccio in the French Ligue 1. Season's coming to a close. We're going to have this one and probably one more one at the end of the season. That one will be against PSG. They're our last. We started the season with them. We end the match with them. Do we get better from our 7-zip whooping at the beginning? We'll find out next episode. But for now we've got Metz. Now, the reason I came back for this match is it's a home match, and as far as I can tell, our stadium is done. So I never got a message on it. I can't find anything that says what type of percentage we're at or we're planning or, any of that. As far as I can tell, we're there. I don't see anything here on it. I don't see anything here on it, except when we click on it, we will see that we now have potentially. Okay, they're not going to tell us here because that would make sense. It would be completely stupid under stadium to tell us how many people it seats. But oh no, there it is. It is right there. I just can't read. So they did tell us, and I'm the stupid one. 20,000 is our capacity. Now, if we go back and we look at what tickets we've been selling, you'll notice every single home game we sold 10,021. Clearly, that was our capacity up until this point. 10,021, 21, 21. Now, remember this, I think it was this, well, they said the south end, but we don't really have a south end. Our south end looks out towards the ocean out there. So one of the ends was blocked off as they upgraded it. But we've got 20,000 seats now, all seating, no standing space. 20,000 is the recommended for Ligue 1. So we've met that requirement. So we're going to come back for our first match in our newly updated stadium against FC Metz. Now, we played a couple games since you've been gone, 3 in fact. If you recall, after the Stade Rennais game, I said I fired him up and said, well, we'll be good for the next match against Ajaccio. At least that was the plan. And we were. We absolutely destroyed them 6-0, despite the fact that El Tigre here was sent off in the 36th minute. It was interesting because I rotated the squad a little bit because, again, we've been dealing with yellow cards from our past fairly aggressive play style. And so I've been trying to rotate so I don't have too many players that are on their last yellow on at once. I don't want to have like 7 players suspended for the next match. And so we'd actually started Jacques in as our striker or as our attacking midfielder. And we got 2 goals. T-Bone got a goal in the 41st, and Hernandez got one in the 52nd. In the 63rd minute, we made the sub, and you can see we got 4 more goals. We subbed in Alex Grosbois here in the 63rd minute, and instantly T-Bone gets a goal. Then Fair gets a goal. Then Grosbois himself gets a goal. Then Hernandez gets a goal. So even a man down, that step up from Jacques to Grosbois was so huge that we scored 4 goals, a man down against Ajaccio there. So good match for us. We followed that up with a close loss against Caen. It's a shame. They played well. They got a couple early goals and then held on. It was pretty equal through most of the game. Towards the end, if you look at the final match stats, it looks like they edged us, and in reality they did. But these clear-cut chances were in the last couple minutes of the match. Up to that point, it was essentially 10-10, 0 clear-cut chances, equal possession. No real difference. They had some more half chances, essentially. And then the last couple minutes, they put a little push on. They got those clear-cut chances. But pretty equal match. Would have been nice to have won it, but we did well. Their manager said nice things about us. They came up with us. We're happy for them to do well. So we've gone on against then we went on the road against Angers here, and we won. This was our first match that we have gone back to our wide formation, right, where we've got some wingers. And we won it 1-0. There was some brilliant attempts that just never quite amounted to anything. But it was nice to see. It was nice to see it back. We had Jigla and we had Barbier both back and healthy for that match. And you can see Jigla played well and got a goal. He got our 1 goal in the whole thing. And I believe it was an assist from Barbier coming in as he crashed in towards the net. So just like old times. Today is the first day that we have essentially, well, we don't have everybody back. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. We have all our wingers back. So Luke Chauvin is back today. He can play 45 minutes. We are going to play him. However, Hernandez is out, and Hernandez is going to be out for a little while, essentially for the rest of the season. Most likely, if we come down here and we sort things by a reasonable thing, we will see that Hernandez is in fact out for 2 to 3 months. So rest of the season as well as our off season. Shouldn't matter. It's not going to affect where we finish probably in any way, shape, or form. So as far as time goes, that's not terrible. We've got Flavius here. He's out for a little while as well. And Jacquet played today as well as Rippard with the reserve team. So that's what we've got. We've got some big decisions, though, to talk about as we go forward. Do we go wide or do we go narrow going forward? Partly, we need to look at what players we want to sell and what players are worth money. Of the players that we could potentially get rid of, if we go narrow, that means we can sell Barber, Chauvin, and Gigla. Those 3 players could all go right away. And they're worth a little bit of money. I don't know how much we'd get for them, but we wouldn't do too badly. Realistically, of the group, Chauvin is by far the best player, or going to be the best player. But at the moment, $250,000 all he's worth. But Barber's worth 1.8 mil, it says. Gigla, another $1 million. So we could make some cash on those sells. I think we probably do that. I think we probably plan on narrow, partly because it's fewer types of players we have to stock. We've talked about that in the past. More players can play more spots. If we take a look at kind of our attacking forward, so we've got T-Bone here, we've got Alex here, or Axel here, Gross Boy. We have Vasily, Nikolai, and we have Hernandez. So they can all play striker, but Gross Boy can play mid-attacking mid-center. Nikolai can play attacking midfield center. Although, interestingly enough, T-Bone and Hernandez can both play attacking mid, right, and left. So they can play on the wings. They could provide some depth for us there. So we could run them out there, and then we run Axel in as a striker, and we get rid of our attacking midfield, and we would have fair interoperability there. But then how do we find enough time for Barbier, Chauvin, Gigla, Hernandez, and T-Bone all on the wings there? It would be a difficult juggling act. In a sense, it's not a huge, well, no, it's good depth, but it's almost too much depth. We've got too many starting players that would be fighting for a couple spots. So we want decent depth, but we want to have clear-cut starters, I think, going forward is my thought. So you can let me know what your thoughts are on that. Now, if we take a look at, is it here? Let's take a look at the team depth chart real fast, and we'll kind of see, this is all positions, current ability. You can see, oddly enough, well, not oddly enough, we've got good depth at attacking mid, but that's because of Hernandez, Gross Boy, and Thibaut here. Those 3 players there. And they also are our depth here and our depth here, and to some extent our depth here. So if we go ahead and we look at, let's lower this down. Let's try to say we want minimum ability of 3 stars. There's not a lot there except for Hernandez, who is our starter here. So we can probably just kind of take him out of there and out of here. And that leaves you essentially with our narrow formation, where we've got some players here across the back. We've got defensive midfielder, we've got mid-center, we've got attacking mid, and we've got striker. And so I think probably that's the way we go. Now, that's current ability. If we look at potential ability, we do have more players, but we don't really have a lot more pop up over here. We've got Luke Chauvin who shows up. And that's about it. Everything else is kind of down the middle or out here on the wings. So I think our team has better overall potential as a narrow formation than as a wide formation. And if we take a look at our tactical analysis, we'll also see that although we did do just fine here with our last game, all told wide, we did not do well. And in fact, we did very poorly. So, it's hard to tell. And this one, that was our weird up the middle with 3 striker formation, which didn't do spectacular either. Oddly enough, at least for chances, it actually did win games. But so I kind of we're. It'd be great to run this, which was our silliness and worked. Let's give credit where credit is due. FM Guru, Guru FM, whichever one. I've got it backward. I can't remember which way it goes now. Our French tactician here gave us a very good workable tactic. And again, one that's easy to fill depth-wise. 3 strikers, a couple midfielders, and everybody else across the defense. And potentially, if we just wanted to win, maybe we go with that, and maybe we go with it regardless. I mean, there's nothing to say that we can't run our narrow formation with this as an alternate. Nothing at all. Anyway, asymmetric. How do we played that? Did we play that this season? So we could say last 35. No, we didn't. I don't know when they played that, but I was going to say I don't remember playing an asymmetric 7 matches in a row, but somebody did and it worked. Anyway, so that I think we go towards narrow. That's my goal there. The other thing is if we go wide. If we go something like this, we lose our defensive midfield spot. And we've got some very good defensive midfielders, including Painbang and the youngster who I just moved back. I moved Martin up to the starters, and I moved, let's see if I can remember his name. Well, here, let's just click here by potential ability, and we'll find him. He should be close to the top. Ludovic Benin here. Also, very good defensive midfielder. So, this kills this formation, this spot for us. So I think we probably want that in. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Now, as you see from my reserves here, we've got a little bit of a steep hill to climb, a tough row to hoe, however you want to talk about it. If we're going to get into European football in any sort of reasonable deal while I'm teaching and have a full-time job, I need to be a little bit more efficient in how we do things. And so I am going to use the hidden stats. Nothing in the hidden stats can't be found elsewhere. If you have decent scouts, first of all, and we do have decent scouts now, these are going to be star ratings that are more relative rather than an absolute, whereas this gives us an absolute from 1 to 200. But most of it's there. As far as things like injury proneness, we can look at individual scouting reports and see that somebody's injury prone or not injury prone. We won't have a number to it, but we'll see it, just like we saw with important matches. I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to use the hidden stats as we go forward. I don't have a whole lot of time. I'm also going to look at things like personalities. So we'll go ahead and replace this with, say, general. Where's personality? I need to start putting that in there. There we go. So we can look at these. And we're looking to go forward for players who are resolute, because we're much more likely to hit this potential with a resolute or a driven player, somebody who's willing to work hard, than we are somebody who's unambitious. And so I think we need to start focusing our attention on making sure that those players that we believe are going to work hard to improve actually get that focus. So people like Pascal here, we need to worry about him versus maybe even somebody like Baptiste Mason, who has a huge upside but is only balanced, right? Are we more likely to see Pascal get closer to this top end than we are to see somebody like Baptiste? So we'll have to start thinking about some of that. I've gone through and I've looked at kind of the players I know I want to keep, and I've made sure that we've got players more or less tied in. The best player I don't have locked in is the goalkeeper here, who's been kind of a pain in the butt this season. And as such, what I've done is I've moved Eric Cross up from the youngsters to the reserve. He is 18 years old, so he's about to have to make that jump anyway, because it's an under 19 is our youth team. So he's already going to have to come up. Now, he's only got a 50. We need to get him some play time. His potential's not a lot worse, but he's not probably our player of the future. Our goalkeeper of the future is, in fact, going to be Mr. Edouard Jove here. Juve? Too many weird letters for me. With a potential of 137. He is only 15, though. But that's our star goalkeeper of the future. Everybody else is just a place filler between what we have and what we're aiming for at the end of the day. So And I've done the same thing here on the youngsters. I've gone through, made sure that anybody with a decent potential is locked up. I have released a number of players. If we come to here and we go to transfer history and we look at released players, you can see I released a bunch of players. Some of these had a potential of like 22. So we've just kind of gone through, and I didn't release average players that we might get paid for. You know, kind of everybody who was under a potential of 70, I kind of got rid of. And that's kind of what I looked at. And not even that completely. You're going to find some players in the 60s probably there as well. So that are still hanging around. But I did kind of get rid of the deadwood. I got a message with, you know, these are the youth players that are being released. And I did look at them, by the way. We did scout them. Didn't see anybody there that we wanted. But I thought, well, at the same time, let me get rid of my youngsters as well that I don't need. So that's that. That's us going forward. That's wide versus narrow, sellable players, depth, interoperability, loss of DM, depth chart. I think that's it. So let's play a match today in our new stadium. We did take a quick look. This is what I'm going to play today. We've got Barbier and Chauvin there. Chauvin's only good for the first half, at which point we'll need to put in Gigla. We don't want these players to get injured because we want to sell them. And that's, I think, where we're going to go with. Legal's going to get the start today due to the injury to Hernandez with Grossboy in the middle. And we do have Nikolai as the sub. He can fill in for either of those spots if we need to, which is great. Lanzini can fill in for either one of these spots if we need to, with Matteo Simon back here. Matteo Simon did sign a new contract, so he's going to be our backup defensive center for the reasonable future going forward. I've got Madu and Martin in here in the middle to be subs in here in case we need them. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's go ahead, match preview. We are in 11th place at the moment. You can see that 42 points. We're in no real danger of going up. We could fall. Metz is the team that's right behind us, but we've been in 12th for most of the season, so we're not going to argue it if we end up in 12th place. That is what it is. No real issue. But this is a team that's very similar to us in ability, at least in performance for the season. They probably do have a higher ability than us. First time we've seen Matthias Martin with the senior team this season. He did play with us last season at the senior team. I was trying to get him a little bit more play time on the reserve. That's why he was down. And potentially even loan him out. But with our kind of little database bug of only having 2 allowable players out on loan, we just don't have enough loan spots. I am going to look in the off season about trying to fix our database so that because our final transfer window just ended a couple weeks ago. Like our first transfer window just ended. So that needs to be adjusted. That date needs to be knocked back, and we need to fix the only able to loan out 2 players. Prove a point. Sure, they liked it. Emmanuel Gass, our assistant manager, is probably the worst coach we have on staff anymore. But I like him. He speaks his mind. He says usually what I want to say. And so he's not going anywhere. But we have upgraded our coaches across the board, essentially, for the most part. I just finished hiring a number of players for under 19s. We've got very good coaching going forward. Our scouting's pretty decent. Probably data analysis is the worst, and we don't actually have any data analysis facilities. So I'm not really all that worried about upgrading that at the moment. We can't really take advantage of good data analysis as it is. So something we'll need to look at going forward, but I think our training facilities are more important because we have seen so many injuries this season since we got downgraded last season. So now that the new stadium's up, I'd like to improve those. That's the next bit. And wow, that was a boring first half. 3 shots each, no highlights, a couple fouls. Possession was pretty equal. We do well, I tried to get us a view of Luke Chauvin, but he's only supposed to be playing the first half. So we are going to, we'll continue to prove a point. We'll end that. So we are going to have to sub him out, and we'll put Gigla in for Luke. I really did want to see him, but you can see he's already down to 67%. Everybody else looks like they're doing okay. We're not playing badly. We're not playing spectacularly. Lanzini was in. Do we want to put him in? No, we've made 1 sub. We'll try to get Lanzini in early, or in a little later in the game. I'd like to give him some play time, get his match fitness back up. He was complaining that he wasn't getting enough play time, and then even though he started like 19 games. And then I talked him down from that, and then he demanded a new contract. So we talked him down for that. So he's been kind of a pain in the butt too. Partly this is because I only have a 4 discipline on my coach rating, so every little whine and bitch and moan they come to me about, it's almost worth editing me just so I don't have to see that anymore. But it is what it is. LT Gray feeds it into Gross Boy. Up to T-Bone. Oh my gosh, gets it past Didalone? Not a great name, to be fair. But we will take the goal. There we go. We had all 3 of our nicknames here with T-Gray. Up to Fair, back to T-Gray. Across to Gross Boy. Nice little pass inside to T-Bone. One touch, just puts it away. Goalkeeper was going left, had a hard time changing direction back when he saw where the ball ended up. I think he thought it was going across to Barbier initially, and he was moving that direction. Killian did pick up a yellow. We do need to be a little careful with the yellows. After our last match, we had 3 players. The last match you guys saw, we had 3 players suspended. Another reason why we were rotating players. So it has been an issue. T-Bone's on this one. He comes charging forward. Oh, and they take him down in the box. They should have let him go. Goalkeeper had a good position on that low angle shot, but it is going to give us... Gibla's going to take it. Okay. He's going to give us a penalty shot. Can we get a second goal here? Put this one away. Beautifully done. Bottom right corner. About as well placed as you can go. Goalkeeper read it correctly, just unable to get to it. And there we go, 2-0 over Metz. So this should hopefully... Look at that. I mean, that's... A little bit more on it would have been nice. Made it a little closer than it needed to be for that. Let's go ahead. I was going to sub some more players. Okay, well, no point now. We'll maybe put him in for a start next match. So, I do like the uniforms here of Metz. I think they're good-looking unis. I like the black. Who was it that had the black with the red stripe around the shorts? That was actually maybe one of my favorite unis here this season, whereas our powder blues is probably my least favorite. Pretty equal match on shots. We were a little bit better shooting with our on target. We had 1 clear cut. They didn't have any long shot. So we've won a match. We've proven that we can play wide despite, the early start. The last couple wide matches we've done okay with. Hand over to assistant, and we've got some good players in here. You can see a resolute in their personality. I like that against Pikachu. That's going to be excellent. And that also makes really good guys to be your tutors going forward, right? To bring those up. Axel's also resolute. T-Bone's driven. I love these. This is the one that's going to hurt is Barbier. It's really, really going to suck to sell Barbier. He's loyal. He's been spectacular for us. This is the player it's gonna kind of jab a knife in to sell. I just don't have a spot for him though going forward. So that's it. Our new stadium, we got a win for it against Metz. I'm interested in seeing how many people were at that one. 2-0 lead. Again, it doesn't say anything about our new stadium that I've seen, but let's see if we sold more than 10,021 seats. And we did. There we go, 14,252. So we should make more money going forward. That is spectacular. An extra 4,000 tickets is going to make us some more money on that. Do we see? Let's look at fine. I know you guys probably don't care about finances. Oh, look at that. Look at that budget. As we start to sign these new contracts, before we start selling, do I need to adjust it some? I don't think it's going to let me adjust it some more. Oh, because we haven't gone forward. Let's just knock it up there. As we've signed some new contracts and locked some players up, that's we're going to clear some of that off the books as we go forward. But for now, our payroll just keeps creeping. Income. Let's take a look at gate receipts. This month, 69,000. Last month was 22. That's a nice jump. But last month it was low because we didn't play very many games. Not because of this. We had a fairly long, like almost 3-week break. And we're on the 11th now. So we didn't really play for the last 2 weeks of March. But still, I think we're going to be good. That's a nice thing going forward. I think we'll end it that way. And that should be the end of the week probably for me. If my math is done right, I haven't edited any of the videos for this week yet. I've just recorded them over the Saturday and Sunday. So we have one match to look forward to. for the end of the season, and that is going to be PSG. So we've got them. And then, I don't know what I'm going to do. I may actually, we'll see how it goes. I may actually record that to go up on like the Saturday, and then give myself maybe 3 days to do the off season. So maybe take Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off, something like that, and give ourselves a little bit of a break to do that, or just Sunday, Monday. But rather than, I may even just record it so it goes up Monday and give myself a few days, because I've got the whole week, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I may record this one today or early on in the week, and then give myself the rest of the week to do the off season. But yeah, we've got PSG coming back. The league looks like this. We are in 11th place, fairly comfortably now with that win against Metz. Conceivably, we could leapfrog Guingamp there to take 10th place and finish top half. I don't know that it matters. I don't know what we get paid for any of this. As we looked at rules, it didn't break down what you get paid for finishing well. But, you know, is what it is. We're doing okay. We've got money in the bank. Let's see, this April, about a little bit less than last April. Much better than we're about probably pretty close to that April with the plummet there. But, you know, May seems to be our low month most seasons. So we'll see how it goes. But we do still have, you know, almost $1 million pounds in the bank. A little bit of a loss this month, but we got players to sell. We've got a season to finish. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers.